Welcome all to another episode of RGN C64 Round Up, your concise guide to some of the recent events within the Commodore 64 scene. Let's kick off the October 2020 edition of this roundup with some latest news. Chris Stanley and Rune Spans from Megasol Productions have announced that they are porting across the Atari 2600 version of Star Wars The Empire Strikes Back over to the C64. In chatting with Chris about the project, he stated that the C64 port will have gameplay that closely follows the Atari 2600 original, but with greatly enhanced graphics that look astonishing for the Commodore 64. In addition to the graphical improvement, Chris is hoping to take advantage of the C64's additional memory to include different enemies and a time of day horizon effects. Baz Scheider has been working on a race render engine for the C64, and he recently showed off his progress by releasing a couple of videos. As we can see by his footage, Baz has done a great job so far in providing an engine that is both quick and smooth, and as a bonus, he has added in a first-person perspective as well. Rhys Clapworthy continues to work on his cute-looking platformer, Stoker. The game is actually based on a children's book that Rhys is writing called Scarlet Bramwell and the Automation Knight, which sees young Scarlet getting accidentally transported back into medieval times by a wizard spell that has gone wrong. Scarlet must work with the wizard if she wants to get back into the present time, and as part of her adventure, she meets a dragon that she calls Stoker. Getting back to the game, the King's Knights are out to slay every dragon, and not wanting to find out how this situation ends, the dragons are looking to escape to the safety of their own dimension through a rift powered by dragon crystals. Unfortunately for Stoker, he misses the leaving day and now is trapped inside his cave with a number of nasties that slip through the rift. You play Stoker, who has to initially locate fragments of the crystal so that he can escape the cave to a sacred place. If you want to find out more about the story narrative in both the children's book and the game, then head on across to the RGN website for an exclusive interview we conducted with Rhys. Magic Eric has decided to try and finish off his port of the ZX Spectrum sci-fi platform game Aliens Neoplasma. Eric has stated that the game will require a C64 accelerator such as the Ultimate 64, Turbo Chameleon 64 or Super CPU, as the game makes extensive use of the high-res bitmap mode that requires extra CPU power. Alien Neoplasma is looking quite good and is expected to have a cartridge release. On a negative note, it seems that some elements of the C64 community have voiced their displeasure to Eric about the game being available only on accelerated machines. Eric has also announced that he is going to attempt to port the classic game Another World to the C64. Eric released his footage showing what is currently possible with only a couple of weeks of effort, and there is still quite a bit of work left to do to get the game running at optimal speed and to iron out all the glitches. Initially, Eric did say that this project would also require an accelerated C64, but has since retracted the statement. I suspect that he's done this because of the fuss that this caused with Alien Neoplasma, and he just doesn't want to deal with all the complaints in the meantime. Though this is just me guessing, and I'm happy to be corrected if this is not the case. Antonio Savona has announced that he is working on Pixquest, a game targeting a 512 kilobyte cartridge. In the game, you play our hero, Frank Further. While camping one day, Frank enters a cave and discovers a subterranean world and is drawn into an adventure to find 4 stolen statues in order to bring peace and harmony again to the pig people. As you can see from Antonio's footage, the game is visually impressive with its use of bitmap mode. There are 4 separate worlds within the game, and it's sure to provide an epic arcade adventure experience to the C64. Antonio has also announced that he will be teaming up with Steve Day and Saul Cross again to port across another Atari 2600 Dan Kitchen game. This time, it's the yet-to-be-released Gold Rush, a game considered to be a sequel to Keystone Capers. As Dan Kitchen is still in the progress of developing Gold Rush for the Atari game console, the development of the C64 port has gotten to the stage where it's aligned with the Atari version, and is now on hold while the team waits for Dan to add more to his version so that the C64 team have something further to copy their port from. Antonio released this video showing off the impressive parallax scrolling effects that he's just looking to adapt for the game. Just check out the subtlety of the scrolling mountains in the horizon. Nick Sherman from Arlosoft is currently working on a theme park simulation game for the C64 called Funfair Inc. Looking to be inspired by the classic theme park by Bullfrog Productions, Funfair Inc. gives you the opportunity to design and run your dream theme park. The game will feature many attractions, shops, stores and other facilities, along with the ability to manage staff and stock. Funfair Inc. is targeted for a December 2020 release, with physical release options currently being considered. The C64 scene is filled with talented pixel artists who constantly provide us with some great looking steel graphics. Here are 6 of the latest that stood out for me. The results of the Reset 64 Magazine 4K Craptastic competition have been announced. This year's competition was a great success with about 38 submissions. Let's take a look at the top 5 placings. In equal 5th place we have Bring Back My Bones, a pseudo 3D shoot and collect game that is developed using Pixquest graphics. The other game taking the 5th spot was Hose It Out, a Pipe Mania style puzzle game that sees you try and extinguish the fires on each level. Coming into 4th place is my personal favourite, Rodman Jr. I really like the graphics on this title and the variation of the gameplay on offer. Jumping Jalopies came in 3rd place with its addictive arcade timing gameplay featuring some charming old school style graphics. Dots came in 2nd place. This is a collect 'em up platform game with some Twitch-style jumping mechanics that will have your tongue at risk of being bitten off as you try to navigate up and through tight gaps. The boost move while in flight is a great addition. And the winner of the competition was Fall. This is mental gymnastics at its most simple but addictive form. You control both characters at the same time as they slide down endlessly, having to navigate the hazards as they approach. It's quite fun when you get into a rhythm, and the backing music is very good. Time to take a quick look at some new releases, starting off with What Else But Zedawing. The game has been universally applauded for its great arcade blasting action, smooth gameplay and wonderful parallax scrolling. Having gone back and replayed the game a few times now, I am able to appreciate the nuances of the game so much more than on my initial play. This is a wonderful effort within Sera's self-imposed limitation of having it all work within a single load. Version 1.1 was recently released, which added a high score saver facility, a very much welcomed addition. Brain Bricks is a memory puzzle game that would be beneficial in helping you restore your concentration and attention to detail. You're given a few seconds to memorise a brick layout, and then it's up to you to recreate it. Overall, the game is well implemented with intuitive controls, but you'll most likely play it through only once. Poppy Locky is a simple one-button casual game where your objective is to time your button press with the indicator on screen. The game is nicely presented, but it won't have you playing it too long. But it is a handy way to warm up before a round of leaderboard golf. Sputnik World has released The Dragon's Castle, a dungeon explorer style game. Now before you get too excited, it doesn't play like Gauntlet. The on-screen action is pedestrian and all combat is done via random dice roll. This doesn't stop the game from being interesting to play, as you need to work out where to use particular items in order to make progress. The maze itself is not large and it should not take you too long to complete. Richard Bayless originally released Granny's Thief as part of the 2016 4K Craptastic competition, but he has put in an extra effort into the title to make it a fully fledged game. The 2020 edition of Granny's Thief is a nice old school looking platform game where you need to guide dear old Granny across various hazards in order to be able to retrieve her false teeth. I was initially dreading that this game would require pixel-perfect jump placement, but thankfully sensibility has been used within the game's design to ensure that the game is accessible for everyone to enjoy. This one is well worth checking out. Well, there you have it. I hope you enjoyed the roundup content and appreciated some of the exclusive snippets of information added to some of the news items. We'd like to hear what projects you're looking forward to playing in the future. Let the developers know what you're excited about. Thank you once again to viewers who have provided IGN with their generous financial support. If you'd like to leave IGN with a small one-off tip, then head on over to our Ko-fi page. Until next time, bye for now.